Today I welcome Derek and Christy Monjuri. Derek is currently the development director at Logos School, and Christy works in marketing with Concordis Education. They both helped to co-found Oak Hill Classical School in Georgia, and you are in for a treat. They are both hilarious and have lots of great stories. Stay tuned. Welcome back to another episode of Come Over for Dinner. I'm so glad you're joining me. Today I have two very special guests, Derek and Christy Monjuri. Welcome, Monjuris.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm so glad they're here today. They are fellow Southerners who have also migrated to the North. And so I'm going to let them tell you a little bit about themselves.
Okay, well, I'll start. I'm Christy. We moved to Moscow from Georgia in 2020, and yeah.
That's all you have.
That's really all I have about myself.
There's a lot more to Christy than that.
Tell us the interesting
important
things, Derek. How about this? Derek tells us the interesting things about Christy, and Christy tells us the interesting things about Derek.
It'd probably be easier.
Well, Christy's from Birmingham.
Mm-hmm.
Grew up there. I am almost a full 8 years older than Christy. Most people don't know that. I am from New Orleans, but we met in Atlanta. Actually, we met on a trip to
Moscow,
Russia.
Actually.
I thought you were going to say Idaho.
No.
What?
No.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Okay. Moscow, Russia? How did y'all both end up in Moscow, Russia?
It was a missions trip to Krasnoyarsk, actually.
Which is Siberia.
Siberia. But it was with the church that we attended.
So multiple churches were going on the same trip?
No.
No, it was just our church.
Oh, y'all were in the same place at that time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he had moved to Atlanta to teach, and I was there. My parents had moved after I graduated high school, and I was home for the summer from college, and so my mom was like, I think they're going on a trip to Russia. You need to go on that.
Yeah.
And so...
My best friend from New Orleans was a youth pastor at this church, and so I moved there in 93. And was the trip in 93?
94.
Mm-hmm.
Did your mom know that Derek was going on this trip?
She did. She had an inkling, and when we got back from the trip, I told her, I got to know somebody, and she was like, I had a feeling about him.
She had it pegged before y'all even did.
She did.
Yeah.
Well, now they are in Moscow, Idaho, and have 5 children, 3 of which are here, teenagers, and attend Logos School, 2 of which are in the South still and are in their young 20s. One just recently was married, which is very fun. First marriage in the family.
Yep.
And so today we're going to talk about a favorite menu you have. You obviously are an experienced cook raising 5 children and still having 3 teenagers in the house.
Yeah.
They might not agree.
Oh, I'm sure they find it all delicious. I'm sure it disappears fast.
Yes, it does.
So what would you serve, not just your family, but a tried and true recipe you would also make if company was coming over?
Well, there's lots of different ones that we've tried throughout the years, but one that always sticks out and has been requested after having served it a couple times to different people, and it's we can't take any of the credit for it, but it's Tyler Florence's dad's meatloaf.
Well, that's got to be good.
So back in the day when Food Network was making its big splash, he came out with a cookbook, and we bought it and looked through it. And I mean, that's the title of the recipe in the book. Dad's meatloaf.
Dad's
Yeah.
meatloaf.
That's pretty
So-
good.
Actually, the whole cookbook, I mean, we could plug it a little bit. It's old.
Yeah, it's very old.
Really, people could find it for really cheap at used bookstores then, or used bookstores online.
Yeah.
Well, I think the recipe, if you just search Tyler Florence, it's online.
It came up several times when I
great.
did a search for it. So.
We make the chili from that.
Yeah.
That
What cookbook is it? What's the title?
It's by Tyler Florence.
It's just, I think it's like...
That's all we know. Well, he does have multiple.
Yeah, he does.
Probably.
I think it's one of his early ones.
Oh, the very first one. Okay.
I think so.
Okay. Well, yes, he's a great chef. Is he still on Food Network? I don't know.
He does, yes, but it's not like his old. It's a new show that he was doing.
They do change it. They do a season,
Yeah.
and then they come out with a new title and a new format, and it changes pretty often. So, all right, what would you serve with this meatloaf? If you have Dad's meatloaf, what would you serve on the side?
Typically, we would do just like mashed potatoes and a vegetable, maybe a salad or green beans. Green beans are our go-to.
How do you cook the green beans?
Well,
with heat.
my favorite way to cook them, and I mean, it's not anything to brag about the health components, but it's just canned beans, but you drain them, and then you just put a big old hunk of butter and stick them in the pan and just let them cook until they're almost black.
And so you start with canned green beans, but you don't drain them.
No, I do drain them.
You do drain them.
You do
so
drain
they're
them.
just cooking in butter.
Yeah, and if you have onions or whatever on hand, you can chop a few onions and stick them in there.
Like I
Onions,
need to try
garlic,
that.
any kind of salt, pepper, or whatever.
But you
seasoning
just cook
like.
them low and slow for a long time.
Really?
And
Okay,
so
I'm from the
good.
South, and I have not tried that.
Well, I think it was in desperation that I did it. Just so, because, boiled green beans out of the can sounds gross.
Right.
And so I was trying to.
You had to jazz them up a
Yeah,
little bit.
yeah.
Okay, I'm seeing Tyler's Ultimate
That's his show now.
and Real
But that,
Kitchen.
look, that top.
This
Nope,
one?
that one right
Right.
there. Yeah. You just pointed to it. Nope, to the right. That's the book.
Real Kitchen.
Real Kitchen.
Tyler Florence's Real Kitchen.
That's the
I
cookbook.
think actually I either had this years ago or checked it out from the library because I recognize that cover.
It's really, there's
a lot of good
a
basics
lot of good
in
stuff
there.
in there, yeah.
Yeah, and I liked it because there were techniques and things you could learn to apply to anything.
Yeah, so it kind of it crossed over into lots of other cooking. That's very handy because if you're learning from a chef, then I did that a lot with Anna Garten when I was young.
Yeah.
She had so
Loved
many
her.
tips and techniques, and her recipes were great, but it was more about just learning my way around the kitchen.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and Rachel Ray, we've recently found the beginning of 30-minute meals. And that's where, it kind of hit the scene, like right after we got married. And I, was learning all the kitchen do's and don'ts. And it was, I still
very
use
helpful.
lots of her techniques that, I've just adopted as my own.
I think it was her. It may have been another chef, but I remember seeing a behind the scenes where she was just a home cook, and she was saying that the Food Network team that was helping her create her show showed her how to professionally chop an onion.
Oh, yeah.
Where you don't cut off both ends.
Yes.
Like you keep one.
You keep one,
and
yeah.
then, a certain way of chopping it and holding it. And I was like, oh, you don't cut off both ends. So
That's brilliant.
I actually still cut off both ends. And every time I do, I think to myself, I need to get on YouTube and figure out how to do it without cutting off. I don't know. I need to relearn the professional way. Because I did do it that way for a minute or two. And then
It was harder. I've tried to do it without cutting off.
it is harder.
Maybe that's why I didn't stick with it, because it just didn't seem as natural. So
Well, and now they have that fun chopper thing that,
yes,
I mean,
the
I
Full Star,
love.
It's been recommended on here a couple of
Yes.
times. There might be other brands.
I don't
but
like them.
You don't. You like just
You like
want the
chop.
knife
I like
and the
knives,
cutting
just
board.
knives, yeah.
If you have a sharp knife and you go fast,
It's true.
Maybe you're
Yeah.
pretty close to just the slamming down the
Yeah,
Full
that's-
Star.
I just that's the aggression release,
We'll have a contest, Derek versus
I
Christy.
should probably win,
But yours would look nicer.
It would.
Yeah.
Not,
and taste better.
taste
It
better
would,
for
yeah.
sure. No doubt. So do you have a shortcut or time saver when you're making this menu, or when you're in a hurry? Do you have anything that you do that would, is make ahead?
I remember
or-
one in a hurry. Well, you
Yeah.
can make there's a relish made out of red peppers and ketchup and bay leaf or all that. It's really good. And you can make that days in advance and just have it on hand. We've never done that.
Well,
But if you plan
but we
ahead and
thought
think
we
about
should have
it-
done this.
Yes.
So the biggest tip for me, and I try to teach this to the kids when they ask if they can make something, and Christy is a lot better with allowing kids to do things than I am. It's like, have you Like they'll ask, "Can we make this?" I say, "Yeah, well, have you actually thought about all of the things you need, and don't start until you have all of those things, right? And do your prep work well." But for this particular recipe on the meatloaf, we did. So we have to mention our one friend who always asks for it. It's Jared Bostrom.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he'd be surprised. I'm sure this will make it all the way down back to Atlanta.
And you know he's listening to my podcast.
Oh, of course he
absolutely
is.
He loves food.
Weekly.
But we had promised we'd make it again one time, and we started late. And Christy had the great idea. It pulled out her Pampered Chef. What is that, stone? they
Yeah,
call it?
it was the
Stone?
muffin, the muffin tin stone.
Stone
Ooh,
muffin.
I didn't know they had
pan.
that.
And so we
Wow.
just scooped the meatloaf mixture into little meat muffins. Doesn't that sound appetizing?
Not when you put it that way.
So we got to,
I've never had meat muffins before.
oh, you haven't lived. I mean, meatloaf muffins are the best.
Okay.
So you put that.
I
you know,
forgot
put that
that's
in
why
the-
we did it.
It cooked it quick.
It did. It
Yeah.
did.
You know, I actually make mini meatloaves, which if you have not made this recipe, it's probably very similar. But instead of making a whole meatloaf where all that gets, I guess, a little bit crisp on the edges, well, are the edges. It's, you know, you
yeah.
just shape like a loaf. My kids refuse to eat that because for years, all I've made are the mini meatloaves. And it's similar to what you're talking
Yeah.
about, where you just shape them into
Yeah.
a little meat patty and
We've
cook
done
them
that too, yeah.
individually.
Yeah.
Or, you know, you put like 8 on a baking pan.
Mm-hmm.
It is meatloaf, but all the edges get crisp.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a sauce on top, you know, ketchup, mustard, brown sugar. And it is so easy, so fast, so
Oh,
delicious. So I would do the muffin tins sounds even easier because you wouldn't have to shape them. You could just
You just plop, yeah.
you know, into the. Did you have to grease the muffin tins? Like
Yeah.
if somebody
Yeah.
ever did do this, you probably
Well,
had to.
and this particular one, I mean, it was a stone, so it really was very porous, and so it soaked up a lot of the grease. And I mean, we were kind of digging it out towards the end.
Yeah. Well, this recipe is in some of his other ones, like the one with the chili. You have to make your own. If you follow it, you make your own chili powder, which is fun. And this you do like other recipes. You make your own breadcrumbs. The relish is really
The relish is
Very
good
good.
just to eat with a spoon.
it's really good. And then this thick cut bacon, smoked bacon, you put on top, and don't cheat that.
Yeah.
Get really
Okay,
good bacon.
that
So
my
good.
recipe does not have the bacon on top, so yours would definitely be over the edge. I need to try that.
Yeah.
And hey, if you're making the meat muffins, you just cut the bacon
Just-
into little
Yeah,
squares.
just have a
Sure.
little, crisscross on top of each muffin.
Yum. Well, when you throw bacon on top of anything,
It's true.
all of a sudden it can't be
It
bad.
just elevates it just
elevates
a
it.
bit, yeah.
I'm a bacon fan. In fact, have you ever had a maple glazed donut with bacon
Yes.
on top?
Yes.
Oh my
Yeah, they
In
need to learn
fact,
about that here.
Well, that's what I told. So there's a small local business, the coffee truck that
Okay.
Crystal does, and she did.
Maple bacon, cinnamon, not cinnamon, but
Well, it
rolls.
was roll. It was like a
cinnamon
cinnamon roll, but it wasn't the
Maple
cinnamon
bacon
part of
roll.
it. But it was a maple bacon roll, and that's the closest thing I have seen up here from the maple bacon donut back home.
If you happen to be in Moscow,
It's so
Idaho,
good, it's sweet and salty.
Oh,
just
I
go
love it.
to Sword and Shovel.
Yes.
Is where it is. And Taft recently did the peanut butter and jelly bacon hamburger.
Have you ever had
What?
peanut butter and bacon?
On a hamburger?
Or just by itself.
Or by itself. Oh my goodness.
Okay,
It's
okay,
so
say
good.
it again. Peanut butter and bacon?
Yes,
Yeah.
you just have like a
ramekin.
ramekin of
dish.
peanut butter and a slab of bacon that you cook up, and you just slather it on with a knife and
Or
chow
dip
down.
the bacon into the peanut butter.
You can. I mean, it needs to
Is
be a
this
little.
really
bit.
a thing?
It is.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's a place in Atlanta that we would go to.
Decatur.
Not often,
Georgia.
but yeah. I mean, that if we wanted a really nice dinner, we'd head down that way, and they had that was one of their.
A really nice dinner is peanut butter that you slab on.
That
Well,
the
it was an
It was
appetizer.
the appetizer.
It was fancy.
The kids were like, we want to go to that restaurant every time.
They did really
They
like
did
it.
like it.
That I will have to
Yeah.
try that. I mean, I know I would like it because when you were saying that, it reminded me of my family grew up putting peanut butter on and maple syrup on top of waffles.
Oh, we did it on eggs.
Peanut
granddad
butter
did.
and maple syrup on top of
Yes,
peanut butter on
peanut butter
eggs?
and peanut. Yeah, my granddaddy did that. Peanut butter and syrup, and you just mix it together, and it made like a little dip or whatever. And you could drizzle it on your eggs, or just dip your eggs in it as you eat it.
Okay, there are all new flavors I need to try. We did it on rice. We've done it on waffles, pancakes, and there was bacon on the side. So all those flavors do go together. You know, the peanut butter,
totally.
the maple, the bacon.
Yeah.
But I have not done it in the order that you are referring to. So the grand experiment shall take place.
Yeah. It is really good. We put it on Nutria down in.
The ROTUS's or ROUS's. What is it? Rodents of unusual size. ROUS.
Princess Bride.
From Princess Bride.
Okay, so you mentioned at Taft they had a peanut butter bacon hamburger.
Peanut butter and jelly.
Peanut butter and jelly hamburger.
Bacon, and they put jalapenos on it.
Was there a ground beef patty in here?
Oh, yeah. It was all, and the bacon was really smoky, thick.
Was it? And you thought it was good?
It was my favorite burger
Yeah.
that I've had there.
Is it still there?
No.
Okay.
It was like a
seasonal.
rotator.
Seasonal. Okay. I'll have to
But
keep my eye
so
out.
now people who, the vast what is that word? I couldn't think of it.
Population?
Hoi polloi. The hoi polloi that listen to your
The hoi
podcast.
Oh my word!
Are like,
Get
what's
the dictionary
Taft?
out.
I was gonna say, well, Tyler told me that they got a lot of positive feedback on that.
Oh, on that one.
Possible.
So could you
Add
be,
it to the menu time.
Well, or could you be one of those like who go in and order off
Ooh,
menu?
off menu.
Because
I tried.
you're so
No, it's
so
hoity-toity.
special.
You tried and they said no.
They said I wasn't hoity-toity enough.
Okay. Well, I'm not hoity-toity enough, so they'd shoot me down as well.
Yeah.
But yes, if you see it on the menu, you have to send like a mass text out. Let us all know. We'll go and try this. It sounds very interesting.
One other odd combination that I thought I would never see: pimento cheese and strawberry jelly. Have you ever heard of it?
No. Do you eat it with crackers?
No, like a pimento cheese sandwich.
A sandwich.
Yes, and you put strawberry jelly or jam on
Is
it.
this Southern?
It must
Oh,
be.
yeah, it
There
is.
was a place called Red Sky that we used to go to. It's closed now, but when they first opened, it was like Grandma's pimento cheese sandwich or something. And so, I mean, you can't go wrong with a good pimento cheese.
Oh, yeah, this is true.
Word to Moscow, because there's none up here. But
Do they not sell pimento cheese in the store?
they do, but it's
Here?
not,
It's not
quite
quite-
the
I've never
same.
seen it.
Yeah,
There's
she
only
just
one
make it.
brand.
Not that you wanted, like even in the South, you didn't want to go and buy the pimento cheese. I mean, it's so much better making it homemade,
Yeah.
but you could.
You could. Palmetto is the go-to there, but they don't. I've asked them to bring it to Moscow, but I haven't
Not
heard
a
back.
taste here for it quite
Yeah,
yet.
probably not. But anyway, so we sat down with the owner, or not with him. He came and sat down. He was like, "All right, so I see you got the pimento cheese. Have you ever tried strawberry jelly on it?" And my friend and I that were there, we were like, And he goes, "Okay, I'll pay for it if you put it on there. Try it and don't like it." And so we were like, "All right."
Well, I can see that because when you do the sandwich, what is it called? The one that has, it's kind of fried.
Oh, the
with
Monte
powdered
Cristo.
Sugar. Monte Cristo.
Yes, and it has
ham, cheese, strawberry jelly,
Yeah. It's-
powdered
yeah.
sugar. I mean, those flavors all go together
So
so,
good.
well.
And then deep fry.
So
And deep
hungry.
fry. I mean, how
I
can you,
mean,
how can
anything
you go wrong?
Anything deep
Throw
fried.
bacon on top. And,
Definitely.
Okay, what is your best prep tip when having company over? How do you prepare? Besides frying up bacon and coming up with some really odd flavor combinations.
We drink a lot.
We drink.
What do you drink to prepare for your company?
What do we drink?
We don't drink to prepare for We may prepare drinks after our company.
We do,
So
yeah. Typically,
I
we'll have a
was joking.
beverage to
Yeah.
So
to
you
make.
prepare a beverage for your guests walking into your house.
Yeah, I try to have something waiting, but whether it's wine or even just water. One thing I have been doing lately is starting a few days ahead of time. And I don't know why I didn't do that when the kids were little. Maybe just because you feel like you're, shoveling the walk while it's still snowing kind of thing when you have littles.
Right.
But now that our youngest is 13, I mean, there's clutter, but you're like, there's your pile, take it upstairs.
Right.
And
they can help.
yeah, they do. And so if I start a few days ahead of time cleaning bathrooms and, picking up clutter, dusting, that sort of thing, then it doesn't feel so overwhelming the day of.
Well,
so that's
and
nice.
if you have real littles, if you clean 3 days ahead of time, well, 3 days later,
It really does. It's very true.
You might be defeating yourself,
That's true.
especially if you're potty training or, just so many different
Goodness.
things. Like, well, you might just have to, could do a deep clean a little bit early and then do a wipe down the day before or the day of. But yes, it's
So what was
kind of
what
hard.
was the question?
Tips.
Preparing.
Yeah,
like,
preparing for people to
for
come
company
over.
coming over.
Well, you're really good about putting out, munchies or a cheese board or
Yeah, have
stuff
something
like
for
that.
them just to snack on, and especially if dinner's not going to be ready for,
If
30,
you're
45
simmering
minutes.
something on the stove and you're going to start with conversation, you might have
Yeah.
an appetizer.
Yeah.
So your go-to is a cheese board.
Cheese, fruit. If I'm feeling extra with it, I'll do like a charcuterie type with meats and nuts and that sort of thing. But
Did we do anything when you came over for gumbo?
You did. I think I remember
It was-
grapes.
yeah, it
remember
was- I
some
think it
fruit,
was
maybe some
like
cheese
a-
and crackers, and because there were a couple of dips and
Yeah.
there was a whole spread. It was delicious. I'm not doing justice to it because I don't remember all the things, but it was
Because you
very
mostly
good.
remember the gumbo.
That's
why.
that was the star, and so after I ate that, the memory just kind of
Yeah,
faded
that rose
away.
to the
So
top
I'm really
and everything.
trying to bring back the appetizers, but the gumbo. Being from New Orleans, he created a mean gumbo, authentic. I don't know that I'd ever had a gumbo quite like that. It was delicious.
It was
Well, I'll
fun
tell
to
you,
watch.
It was the first one I ever made.
You're from Louisiana, and that was the first gumbo you ever
Yeah,
made.
because you have family.
Well, that's true.
Family and friends
That's true.
always make
And if one family member always does the gumbo or always does the whatever,
Crawfish boil.
then
Yeah.
you're the one that comes and enjoys
Crawfish
it.
boil, that should be the show.
But
That
okay.
should-
You should just have a whole season of
do
Louisiana favorites.
We'll come back, talk about gumbo.
round 2 gumbo, crawfish boil.
The crawfish crab boil. is-
Beignets.
Oh my, beignets. I'm always about dessert. So
Yeah.
speaking of, do y'all have a dessert that you love to serve? I mean, not you could be with this menu, but just in general, do you have
Just
a
in
go-to?
general.
I'm a terrible dessert person. So
Yeah, brownies. I mean, unless I'm, I guess, feeling like it's a special occasion, we'll do just brownies and maybe cut up some strawberries and vanilla ice cream. I mean, that's pretty much, a
That
winner
would always
all the
be
way.
a favorite. Do you have a particular recipe you like? Brownies
I can't say that it's homemade, but the Costco Ghirardelli box.
Okay.
I mean, they don't sell it in this regular store. This box has chocolate chunks that even the triple chocolate whatever Ghirardelli from the store is not the same. And so you can only get it at Costco that I've found.
That sounds delicious.
And so, yeah.
And that's a time saver.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, and, you stick a teenager on it who likes to whip up stuff and make a large mess.
What is your best advice for showing warm hospitality to those coming into your home? How do you make your home warm and welcoming?
we take their shoes off.
And wash
give
their
them-
feet.
Wash
Give
their
them fuzzy
feet.
socks.
Hey, invite me back over.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I guess we greet everybody at the door and,
Yeah, typical. Well, I mean, Southerners.
yeah.
So you have things ready, a drink ready, like we talked about earlier, and then you're just really interested. Make sure you're interested in that person that's coming to your house.
Yeah.
That's actually really great advice because if you're distracted and busy and cooking, it's easy to be able to just say hi and then not. You don't realize you're really not showing interest in that person.
Right. Yeah.
They're kind of left standing there awkwardly.
Yeah.
If you're not cautious about it.
Yeah.
So what have your other guests said?
What about being warm and hospitable?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Everybody has different things, but a lot of people do talk about having a drink ready or something that you can put in your hand, because that kind of starts the, they're kind of comfortable. They already have something to start on. Some people have talked about lighting or music or, what's the other thing?
We don't pay
Greeting at
attention
the
to
door.
those.
I mean, if we're on our game, we'll have music playing, but not. I don't feel like it's intentional. Like we're not like, go turn on music before everybody gets here. You know, it's just probably already on, and we're
Make sure we've showered.
usually that's a last minute thing too.
That is showing hospitality to your guests. Making sure your teenage boys have showered after sports
absolutely.
practice.
Definitely. Quick, run
I'm trying to think,
upstairs.
we did have people over for Super Bowl, and we had different drinks available. Like, I don't drink a lot of beer, just because it's so filling. But I really like whiskey, and so we had beer, we had wine, and we
Had a little girly
whiskey.
drink. Like it was really, I don't know, spiked lemonade kind of thing.
That's kind of a fun idea to have. I mean, because a lot of times the women are planning everything, so they might think, of this drink like a woman might like.
Yeah.
But it is fun if their husband likes a whiskey or something like that, to have something that the men like, would reach for. A favorite beer, a shot of whiskey, not necessarily only, a martini or
Right, like a mixed drink or a
margarita
cocktail.
or
Yeah.
a cocktail or something like that, which men like too. But it could be that they ask their husband, well, what
Yeah,
is
I don't like Moscow mules.
Okay.
Right? So Christy
I love
really
them.
does.
So you might serve Moscow mules while he has out the whiskey
It's out
for
the bourbon
guys to
or whatever.
sample.
Yeah.
What is your must-have kitchen item, and where can we find it?
Well, I have to say,
of
I
them.
love kitchen gadgets.
Okay, well, you're not alone in that. So
Oh yes, it's probably the bane of all organizational people. But I think my favorite is, well, I don't know. There's so many. The easiest one is the garlic roll thing, and I don't even know what it's called. I got it off of Amazon. It came in a 2-pack.
Never
but it's
use
like
it.
garlic roll.
I do. You don't use it.
Yeah,
I
don't.
use it.
It's
So it's
annoying.
not a garlic press.
It's not a press. It's a silicone tube, and you
Okay.
stick the garlic in, and you just press it on it just a little bit and roll it, and it peels the garlic lickety split. It's so fun. And now the part of cleaning it out can be cumbersome just because it's silicone and the paper of the garlic sticks.
So if you run hot water,
So
it's
yeah,
not
you
really
have
gonna,
to rinse it out. But
So,
yeah,
so a quick rinse in hot water. You
Oh,
don't
yeah.
have to like get a toothbrush in there or something.
no, because it's it's a tube size.
That is so
So-
interesting, because peeling the garlic, what I do
It's a
is
tube
just
size.
A tube.
If you don't even get that out in audio land,
Look, this thing.
held it up.
A quarter, a little bit bigger than a quarter, or maybe a $50 size.
That's true. Great
Yeah.
for good point. Thanks for pointing that out and clarifying. We'll have
Can
to post the
depend
link
on Derek.
on comeoverfordinner.com. You'll be able to find all the recipe links. I'll post this product link from Amazon. The only way I've done garlic is by, I guess, the chef way, where you turn your knife sideways and smash
it, the Rachel
But
Ray
I'm
way.
always scared of telling. Well, my kids are older now, but when they were young, I was. I don't know if I want my kids smashing their hand
With a
down
sharp
on a
knife?
sharp knife, because
Yeah.
what if they
Really?
tilt the blade wrong instead of down? I don't know.
No, my dad always did that. I mean, that's so.
Did
that
you
was
do it
one
as
of
a
the
kid? No big
earliest
deal?
things I learned as a kid. Yeah, he would make a dish he called linguine, clams, and a lot of garlic. Dad's all Sicilian, and he would take the knife flat, hit it, and then it was the getting the chop and mince the garlic.
Did he let you do it as a kid though?
Yeah,
So you just, I guess if you teach them right, if you train them well,
Train them up in the way they should go.
Yes,
Yeah.
they will not
Yeah.
hurt themselves as they
Yeah.
bang knives.
my
And-
favorite. You didn't ask me what my favorite kitchen thing.
Well, we're moving on to Derek. Derek, what is your favorite kitchen item?
It is our enameled cast iron Dutch oven.
Certain brand, or just any
It's a
brand?
Lodge, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Le Croissette's nice, but they're very
Sure.
expensive. Mm-hmm. So that's my favorite because it's really versatile.
Yeah, that's actually our second one. We got one at what is it called? Cost Plus World Market.
Oh, yeah.
Plus Cost World.
Yeah. He's making fun of me. I can never get it.
Remember.
It's
When
really
you're
my friend
saying it,
Greg
I'm
that would
thinking
get it.
there was one in Shreveport, Louisiana, which is where my grandma lived for years. And when you said it, I couldn't remember either. World Market.
It's
There was
Cost Plus World Market.
Okay. I think I always said, I'm going to go to World Market when I visit.
Yeah.
I don't remember where the
I would
Cost
mix
Plus
the
went
words
in
up,
there.
and it didn't aggravate Chrissy. But I have a friend, Greg, who's a CPA. You'd be like, it's cost plus,
Well,
profit. Finally, I got it. when said that.
You have
had
to
to
have all
explain
the
it.
numbers in order. Your brain is very orderly, and you can't have words out of place.
It's true. It's true.
You got to get that right if you have a CPA friend. All right, hospitality story. I bet something might have gone awry at some point when you invited
Amongst
company
all the
over
times.
all these years.
It's usually my
over
fault.
all the years.
So even like during our show prep session when we were talking about things, I just thought of another one
Yeah, okay.
that involves people will know these people
Oh,
up here.
okay.
At least the local
Sounds
listeners.
spicy.
The local listeners.
No, we were when we were still in Atlanta. We were part of a classical school down there, and we were looking to hire a head of I guess it was head of upper school. I don't know if that's what
Yeah.
And so the board was at our house, and they were coming over for dinner, and this candidate was coming over, flew all the way in from Santa Cruz.
You just gave
Yes.
it away. Yeah, you did.
Well, yeah, no, I'm going to mention their name. And so we're going to have this at our house. I don't even remember what we made.
Oh my goodness, I know what you're about to say.
So we leave. We leave for some reason. I had been doing work, and I went up and took a shower before we left, and I left hot water on in our bathroom, and it went past the little spillover, safety drain. And we get back home, and I don't remember how we discovered it, but I think I stepped
It
in
was
something
raining in
wet.
Ethan's room.
Well, we
is
checked
how we
that.
discovered
Yeah,
it.
so our bedroom's upstairs.
Yeah.
Our bedroom's upstairs. Our son's bedroom is downstairs, and it came from ours through his ceiling
Through the
fan,
fan.
Oh, no.
coming through, and then all the way to the unfinished basement, just pouring
It was also a rental house.
hot water.
Did you turn on the shower thinking you were going to take a shower, and then you thought
It
you
wasn't the
ran out
shower.
of
It was
gas?
the sink.
The sink.
Yeah, it was the
Not
sink.
real sure why he left the sink
I
running.
don't know. I don't remember.
Something made sense at the time.
It was-
Yeah.
No, it didn't.
No, I think distraction made
Yeah.
sense.
When you turned the water on, you meant to do something.
Well, yeah, I meant to
Turn it back off.
I don't know why I didn't turn it off.
Right.
But yeah, so we had another friend that owned a carpet cleaning business,
Mm-hmm.
and
Thank the Lord.
he had these Mac Daddy vacuums that
Big
could pull water
vacuums.
out and then left these dryers. But this, right before they're coming over, so
Yeah.
he's there.
We're trying to make a good impression.
putting stuff up. Everybody's coming in, and we're waving and over the fan noise, the vacuum noise. All that. Yeah, that was fun.
That was fun. I totally forgot about that.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
It was a good night.
It was.
Yeah.
He took the job, and
I was going to say, did
yeah.
the school board candidate run, or the head of school candidate run, or did they?
They moved, and
They moved.
Okay.
They're in Spokane now.
Okay, well, that's great.
yeah, not in Georgia.
They're
So
not
that
in
was
Georgia.
one he just thought of. There was another one before this memory. What was your other
So
story?
we
Oh, this
had
is the funny story. Is that what?
that. Yeah,
Okay.
lesson.
Well, no, yours was funny. I
was
want
funny.
to hear a second one.
Well, I didn't know this part. I didn't know we were in that segment of the show.
He's not listening.
I'm not following.
Well, we're in story time.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is story hour.
Are you gonna the Charlie one? Charlie, you can tell.
Yeah, well, I was going to say,
There's so many
we did about a decade-long stint with a group of friends, and we did dinner club. So we got together early on. It was just our oldest, Ethan. He was, I don't know, 2 or 3 when we started doing it. And it was just him. He was the only child.
Only baby.
Yeah, and so we would get together once a month and have. So it was a group of 4 couples.
Mm-hmm.
So 3 besides us. So one person would be in charge of the menu, and then they would find the menu, pick
they
all
were
the things
host.
out, and yeah, they were the host, and then they would assign the different.
Parts of the menu.
Yes,
Yeah.
that
That's a fabulous
too.
idea.
Yeah, and so this one
Some people
particular.
would call them courses or anything like that.
Yeah, well, that's my brain. I
That's true.
was searching, coming up empty. But anyway, there's this one particular one, and
It could be sides. I'm sorry.
That's true. Well, I guess it could be courses or
It could-
sides.
yeah.
Because, dessert
Mains
would be
and
a
sides,
course. Or,
Yeah, 'cause
you
there
could
were
have an
s-
appetizer.
there were
We would.
time
You would
that-
have an appetizer. You would have a main. You would have a side. You would have a dessert. Drinks.
Sounds really fun.
yeah, and it really
It
was.
really
I mean,
was.
we got to experience a lot of different cuisines, and I mean, we
Some
really
not-
went.
Some not so good.
Some not so good,
But you just figure it
but
out.
yeah. So
And then you for sure know you're going to be able to get together with your good friends.
absolutely,
At least
Yeah.
once a month.
yeah. We ended up going to Ireland with this group,
Oh,
and
that's-
it was amazing.
Oh, what
so
a fun
amazing.
memory.
Yeah. So anyway, this one particular time, I don't even remember what the menu was, but there was a directive.
Oh no, it was It was Charlie's Christmas.
Oh, it
dinner.
was
So
Christmas.
I went over early to our friend Charlie's house.
That's
to
right.
help him prep this, and so it
Yeah.
was-
So it was the dinner club, but it wasn't one of the dinner clubs. Charlie would do a special dinner for the dinner club as his Christmas gift to us. And so Derek went over early to help prep. And there is a directive to chop the shallots, mince the shallots. And Derek minced the scallops instead of the shallots. And Charlie did not realize it until.
Oh, no, he didn't. I realized it like
you realized.
mid-mince. Mid-mince. Like half the shallots are minced, and I'm like,
It's half the scallops were minced.
and I'm thinking in my head, I don't know what
Why?
you do with scallops.
Why do
like
you
that.
mince scallops?
Especially if you're from New Orleans. You're like, why do you mince scallops? But I'm going to go with it. Just roll with the flow.
Oh my word!
And then I realized that I had made a
Crucial error.
big faux pas,
Yeah. So off to Publix he went, praying that they had enough scallops.
and we had some.
Yeah.
So
So, and then there
It's
was
a pretty great story.
yeah, and then the one
it
other
gets
time
repeated a lot amongst those.
that what?
It gets repeated a lot.
Oh yeah,
amongst our
because
friends.
it's a good one. It's a good one. And then the crab cake,
Yeah.
never-ending crab cake.
Yeah,
story.
we had. I don't remember. That was dinner club too,
It was.
but I think it was also a special one. And I told everyone that I would make crab cakes. They were delicious. It was Emerald Lagasse recipe.
Mm-hmm.
But I tend to buy too much and make too much, and so everybody's
Like a
sitting
good
down
Southerner.
to
Like a good
eat
Southerner.
dinner. Yeah, everybody's sitting down to eat, and I'm still making these were supposed to be an appetizer.
Yeah.
And I'm just
3 hours later,
crab
we're
cakes
like,
for days.
Dinner's over and crab
Dinner's
cakes
way
are still
over.
cooking.
yeah, we've retired to the living room.
Yeah,
Derek's in there.
I'm in
With
there.
some
Cooking
crab
away.
cakes.
Yeah, I'm not having a bad temper or anything by that point.
Nothing he needed to repent from.
Maybe
Yeah.
at some point you should have just put the crab cake mix in the fridge and just called it a day.
Right? And then you can have some left, like
Yeah, no, no,
later.
you know,
But I would be the same way. Like I'm just gonna, we're cooking them.
just
We're
get it
eating
done.
them fresh. They're gonna be hot. And meanwhile the whole dinner party's happening.
nobody wanted any.
No, we
Well,
were.
Right.
The appetizer hour was
Similar to the
come
Israelites
and
and
gone.
quail, right?
They were done.
Yeah,
No
They had
mo.
eaten way
No mo.
too many crab cakes.
yeah.
We ate them for an appetizer,
We did.
Derek. We ate 5
We,
of them.
we had like 6 years worth of appetizers there.
yeah.
and
Did you
dinner.
hear the Israelites and the quail reference?
I did. Yes. No,
Yeah.
I understood it. That was
Thank
pretty
you.
good. Biblical reference. Bringing it back.
Well, this show touches everything. I mean, people need to know.
This is true.
People need
You
to
don't
know.
just listen to this show for cooking
I mean,
You know,
tips and techniques.
This is
it's
true. So,
well-rounded.
So what we could learn from this is don't serve your guests so much of
Yeah.
one particular
Gluttony.
thing.
Gluttony.
that
It's bad.
that
Yeah.
they feel like the Israelites in the wilderness eating quail.
They be complaining about the
Like
crab
they
cakes.
never want to see this dish again.
Yeah.
It's enough.
There were no funny stories on Christy.
Oh,
Was that all? Is that all directed towards Derek?
oh yeah.
But most of them were, which is true. I can live with it.
But does Christy have one?
I don't know.
I can't think
really
of
don't
it.
think I
Derek,
do.
you don't have anything that you've been holding in reserve?
Yeah.
Since she has all these on you?
No, I really don't.
Well, you have round 2 coming up, all of the Louisiana favorites. You're going to have to pull out gumbo and
Crawfish boil,
boil
and beignets.
Beignets.
You really honestly have not lived until you've been to a crawfish boil.
It's
crab
true.
boil.
If we could get them up here, we would
We need to
do
it.
that.
Just real quick, is that the same thing as a low country boil?
No. I mean, it's similar. Low
Yeah.
country's typically shrimp.
Shrimp, that's true.
I mean, you think about if you really
Crawfish
like a
is
low country
separate.
boil, think of something that's like, I don't know, 50 times better.
Low country boil is?
No.
If you think of that, a crawfish boil
crawfish
is
boil
50
is better. Okay.
Whatever you said, 50 times
I
better.
was throwing the gauntlet down on that in case all of your listeners are from South Carolina or something like that.
And they would pick the low country boil.
Yeah.
That's
Probably.
the area.
Okay, well, how
Those
about
northern
this?
states like South Carolina.
Those of you who have moved, from places, have a throwdown.
Oh.
Derek can lead the charge on the crawfish boil.
Mm-hmm.
The people from North Carolina, you said?
South.
South Carolina,
Carolina.
who think that the low country boil is the way to go. Y'all have a showdown.
I don't
I'll
think
be
there's
the
anybody
judge.
here from that, right?
Actually, I don't know who they are, but the people that moved into the place we just moved out of,
They're from South
they're
Carolina.
from South Carolina.
Northerners.
Right. Well, there's a
Northerners.
throwdown. I'll volunteer to judge.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Taste
I'll
test.
sacrifice myself in this way.
Well, it's really, low country boil is more shrimp. And if you like, I'm not a huge fan of shrimp. But
I am. I
that was,
like
that
all
was a
seafood,
lull.
though.
That was a lull in the show. You'll have to edit that gap.
If only you could see our faces.
We might need to go to video.
Yeah.
For real.
When I invite the Southerners over, we already, even the Southerners fight amongst themselves. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. It has been fabulous to talk over this delicious menu and all of the Southern things we might need to taste, all the different flavor combinations. I've got to try
There's a
some
lot,
of them.
yeah.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
I've got to write this down and
Yeah.
get started. All right. Until next time. Bye for now.